Hi there, back with Dave and Tim at the Single Malt Review. Today we're going for a bit of local flavour from some New Zealand spirits, or at very least, spirits by way of New Zealand.
Yeah, well, a New Zealander was responsible, we'll say that much. And this is presumably built for the International Space Station. It's built the astronauts drink because it comes in a bloody bag, which is the first time I've seen this. It is Batch10 Manuka Smoked Kentucky Whisky. And that's a series of words which, well, it asks questions, that's for sure.
Batch10, New Zealand producer, they have some of their own spirits and also a unique honey liqueur based on bourbon. And I say unique in that they actually get to call it a Manuka Bourbon. They get to use the B word in their name, which is tricky when you're outside the US of A. This, however, is not that.
Yeah.
This is a Kentucky whiskey that has, through some arcane secret process, been smoked with Manuka, the New Zealand tea tree, which is neither a tea nor a tree, but don't let that stop you.
So the implication here is that bourbon has arrived in our country, and I'd love to know who makes it, but I'll probably never find out. And it has then been modified in New Zealand. It has been smoked, and I suspect, though I'll need your second opinion on this, sweetened a little. It's still bloody high proof, so it's not necessarily going for the whole liqueur thing.
Yeah.
45
ABV.
It's a weird thing. And then, served in a bag, because why not?
Well, it does come in glass, both miniature and full size.
Yes, you can get it
just also needs
traditionally packaged.
Yeah.
But, when you've got to really get it into that rugby game, the bag is the way.
I've been eyeing up the Manuka honey bourbon liqueur for a while, but haven't yet bought one, though I'm interested to give it a try, and we'll see how this one goes, too.
Yes, well, if you haven't already gathered, I'm gathering my energy to really slam this one. Right. So, Dave, you're here to save it if anyone's going to save it.
I am genuinely curious.
Yep. Anyway, so that's the timeline. Bourbon comes to New Zealand and then gets it'd be tempting to say ruined, but it gets changed. It gets changed by the Batch10 company with the addition of, they've somehow vectored Manuka smoke into this, whether it's from smoked chips or smoked essence, or because you can't exactly smoke liquid. That doesn't work tremendously well unless you're trying to put out the fire. And here we go. Yeah, I think they've added some sugar as well, maybe Manuka honey. Not certain. But it's subtle. So I'll get your comment on that. So on the nose.
Man, that is some serious Manuka smoke. I'm a big fan of Manuka smoked fish, kahawai or the like, whatever, just any locally caught fish smoked of Manuka. It is delicious, but there's a lot of that woody smoke is coming through here. There is a hint of Manuka honey, but mostly it's the leaves and the wood.
Does it smell to you a little bit like hospital-grade disinfectant?
Honestly, no.
Okay, good. It's just me in that case.
Both my parents have medical backgrounds. I spent a bit of time in hospitals, socially, obviously growing up, so I'm used to those smells. That is not here.
It smells to me like iodine.
Right.
Not of iodine itself, but of the solution that iodine comes in. It's
interesting. Well,
it's a weird smell. It's sort of where the aroma lands for me is it starts off really sweet. It starts almost going a Jägermeister direction because of that herbal quality, and then suddenly the smoke just sort of arrives, and then suddenly it's in a whole different ballpark of weird smells, and so it's this odd vectoring together of things which my nose is having difficulty sort of quantifying.
Manuka is famously believed to be somewhat antimicrobial, so there may be some antiseptic properties there, but for the most part for me, there's a little bit of whiskey smell, but mostly it is from Manuka chips and Manuka smoke, which we're used to through other foods that have been smoked that way. It is a unique smell and unique flavour too, as is Manuka honey compared to regular honey.
So on the palate, full strength, which we should note, conspicuously high, 45%. That's stronger than most straight Kentucky bourbon you buy in this country, usually because they've made a crappy bottling just for Australasia where they water it down, but still, conspicuously high.
Oh wow, I do see what you mean. That is overwhelmingly a Manuka flavour. Wow.
And do you think there's sugar in there? Because
there is a
I think
sweetness,
there's sugar in there.
I think the impression I get is you take some lightly smoked, lightly charred Manuka chips and you infuse those into the whiskey. It's getting sweetness from out of the wood. That is a very sappy sweetness. I think fresh or like smoked Manuka wood has gone into here. Not heavily charred. That's my guess, at least for how this is made, because that is overwhelming any Kentucky whiskey flavours which may be there underneath. There's definitely some whiskey going on, but it is all about that wood and that smoke.
It's the wood is key. There's smoke in here certainly, but it's almost like fresh Manuka wood in there. It's wild how much it's almost like it's woodier more than it's smokier.
Yeah, it's like someone has seen that Manuka is known as, in English as tea tree and decided that means it's tea somehow and given it a good old steeping with a bagful.
Do you like it? That's the real key point. Because I hate it. I don't like any part of it.
I'm going to need to sample it some more, but that has potential to really grow on me. It is an alarmingly jarring flavour compared to what we're used to, especially when you're expecting a Kentucky-style whiskey underneath.
I don't know, it's difficult to articulate why I hate this so much. It's like every aspect of it is wrong. Like there's smoke here, but there's something wrong with it. There is whiskey flavours in here, but there's definitely something wrong with those. If anything has suffered the most, it's the underlying bourbon.
I do know people who absolutely hate the taste of Manuka honey and Manuka wood compared to conventional honey and conventional wood you'd use for smoking food. I personally like them both. It's got a savoury element not present in the usual sweeter versions.
Manuka honey has a downright sort of chemical note to it. It has like a lot of menthol characteristics. It has it's a very cooling kind of thing. I mean, I think Manuka honey is fine. I think in terms of just eating honey, I would probably go for more conventional stuff, just because Manuka is very overpowering, especially if you're really getting into it. But this is just it's a clash of things that do clash, which is bad. But all of the things that are clashing are also bad for me. It's just, it's difficult to really articulate it, but it does not sit well with me. It seems unnatural somehow. It
is a challenging drink. It is real confrontation to the senses because it's so at odds with anything we've tried before, even on camera or off. But no, overall, I'm intrigued. I'm beguiled. I want to know more, and I think I will, based on this, pick up some of the bourbon Manuka honey liqueur that these guys also make. One that gets to call itself bourbon based, which they can't do here. So it has sparked curiosity.
If anyone else has tried this particular please give me your thoughts in the comments.
What do you think and why?
Hearing Dave's thoughts on this has been helpful because I was really at a loss for. Like, was it just me, or is this just universally awful? And it sounds like there could be things to like here, just not from my palate. It's one of the oddest things we've ever had here. I'm certain it's one of the strangest beasts that we have really sat down to here, and it's so much about it is weird. Between the weirdly high proof, from the weirdly is it here or is it not sugar aspect, I'm still certain there's some actual sugar in it.
I'm convinced it is lightly smoked Manuka chips. This is on a bit of a tangent, and we're looking at beer. We love a good strong barrel-aged beer, and sometimes you get a similar thing by chips. You take your stainless steel vat, you add some chips of smoked oak, and you get a oak-aged beer, but you can taste the difference. You can taste how it's different from one actually aged in an oak barrel. It is similar here. This tastes like it's had wood chips infused into it. I believe that's what's gone on. They're taking the smoked Manuka.
Well, that's almost the only way. I mean, smoked whiskies are made through smoking the malt before it's even fermented.
Exactly.
So once that window is closed, then there's very little way of getting into the getting smoke in there without adding something in on top.
But if you like the flavour of Manuka, then damn, this is a delivery in spades. It's a bold experiment, certainly, and has created something utterly unique in my experience.
Can't follow you.
Yeah.
Can't go there. I hate it.
I can't apply a score to it because of just too far. There's simply no basis for comparison.
Well, I think this falls into
number.
in its own way. This is falling into the liqueur spectrum, which we don't rate. Man, it's a concoction, all right. Boy, I do not like it. Do not like it. Cannot explain why, but it does. It's just wrong. Something about it is deeply, deeply wrong. Possibly our most divisive thing ever, because Dave actually seems to be enjoying this, which I can't even emulate in my mind how that's possible. But I don't know. You can have mine though. This is
excellent.
This exercise in masochism for me. This is. Anyway, hey, it comes in a bag. What else can you say? I'm a grip and sip. Got it there. Any opportunity to make that joke. All right, that's all we can say. I'm cutting this one. This is gone. Sludge.